In this tutorial, I will show you how to texture bake procedural materials in Blender. And then at the end of the video, I'll be showing you a really great Blender add-on which makes texture baking so much easier and speeds up the baking workflow. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, then you know that I create many procedural material tutorials. And I actually sell all of my procedural materials on my Gumroad store and my Patreon page, so if you'd like to purchase any of my procedural materials, I'll have the links in the description. And what's so cool about procedural materials is that they don't use any external image textures, they just use the procedural textures and the procedural nodes in Blender to create the material. And because these types of materials are procedural, they're also very customizable. So you can, for instance, change the scale and the size, you can change the colors, and you can change the material settings to make it look exactly how you want. So procedural materials are very cool, but the downsides of using them is that they only work in Blender. So if you want to use the material in something like a game engine, or maybe upload to Sketchfab, or use it in another 3D software, then the procedural material isn't going to transfer over into another program. So to use a procedural material in another 3D program, you'll have to bake out the material to texture maps. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. Now, the process of texture baking procedural materials works just like any other texture baking process. And if you haven't seen my texture baking for beginners tutorial, I'll have a link in the description where you can check that out. You can also check out my texture baking tutorial playlist to watch all of my texture baking tutorials. But I get a lot of questions about this in the comments of my videos, so I thought I'd make a specific video on how to texture bake procedural materials. So for demonstration, I'm going to be using my procedural dented metal, and I created a tutorial a little while back on how to create this material. So if you'd like to check out that tutorial and create this material to follow along, I'll have the link in the description. You can also purchase this material on my Gumroad store and my Patreon page, links in the description to that as well. But you can really use any procedural material and follow along with this tutorial. Now, I'm going to be baking this material to an object, but if you want to bake your procedural material to tileable seamless texture maps that you can use on different objects, then I actually have a separate video on that, and I'll have a card right up there on the screen and the link in the description if you'd like to check out that video. But in this video, I'm going to be texture baking the material to this object. So the first thing that we need to do is create an image that we're going to actually bake the textures to. So I have the 3D viewport right over here, and then I have the shader editor right here. So to create an image here in the shader editor, I'm going to press Shift A, let's go to the search, and I'm going to search for an image texture, and I can just drop it right up here above the principled shader. And then I want to click on the new button because we want to create a new image that we can bake to. So I'll click on new, and I can just rename this to dented metal. And then on the width and height here, I want this to be a 4K texture. So I'm going to click and then drag down and then let go. And this way I can change both values at the same time. And I'm going to change this to 4096 by 4096. And that is the resolution of a 4K texture. But you can change this to whatever resolution you want. I'm going to go with 4K. And then we can leave the color at black because we're going to be texture baking over the image. And then I can click on OK. Now the next step to texture baking is that we need to UV unwrap the object because we need some way for the 3D mesh to be placed on the 2D image texture so that Blender knows where to bake the material onto the image. So with the object selected, you can click right over here to go to the UV editing layout. And if you don't have a UV editing layout, you can click on the plus here and then go to general and you can open up UV editing. So let's go to the UV editing layout and then I can zoom into the object and you can see it's going to take us into edit mode, and then right over here is the UV editor. So if I press the A key, I can select all the UV editing. Now, if you'd like to learn the basics of UV unwrapping, then you can check out my UV unwrapping for beginners tutorial with the link in the description. But when I'm doing texture baking, I usually just use the Smart UV project. So in edit mode with the object selected, I'm going to press the U button and then I can just do the Smart UV project. And then right here on the island margin, I do want a little bit of space in between the islands so that there isn't any overlapping. So I will turn my island margin to a 0.01 and then click on OK. And that will be fine for texture baking. Now there are a few things to keep in mind. The first thing is that you don't want the UV islands to be going out of the boundary of the image, because if they're going out of the boundary of the image texture, then there's going to be problems with the baking. And if you don't see the black image that we added in the background, you can scroll over and click right here and then you can just select the image that we added. Now another important thing is to make sure that there's no overlapping of the islands, and you can see because I added that island margin, there is no overlapping of the island. islands. And then the other really important thing is to make sure you're using as much of the image as possible. So you want to scale these islands up so that they're as big as possible without going outside of the boundary of the image. Because if you use more of the image space, then it's going to use more of the pixel size, and so the final baked texture will be higher quality. But you can see that there's a lot of extra space right up here, and so these are all pixels in the image that we're not using. So depending on the shape and size of your UV islands, you could press the A key to deselect everything, then you can hover your mouse over the islands and press the L key to select the linked vertices, and you could move the island and you could like scale it up. So I think I will do that just so it's a bit bigger, and then press the L key to select the island to kind of scale it up. You basically just want the islands to be as big as possible. And so by moving the islands around, I was able to scale them up a little bit, so they are a little bit bigger. So now let's go right back over here to the shading layout. So we can now go over the bake settings. So right over here on the side panel, we want to go right up here to the render properties. And right here on the render engine, you want to make sure you're using Cycles Render, because the Eevee rendering engine doesn't support baking. Now, if you are using Eevee, that's totally fine. You just need to switch it to Cycles, then do the texture baking, and then you can turn it back to Eevee once you're done. So just make sure it's set to Cycles for now. Now, if you open up the sampling tab right here, on the render samples, you want to turn the render samples to 1, because if you turn the samples down, it's going to bake faster, but it won't affect the quality of the bake. So you can just turn the samples all the way down to 1 and it'll bake faster. And then let's close the sampling, and we can now open up the baking tab. And right here is where we have all the bake settings. I'm going to be baking the base color because we do have some data going into the base color. I'm also going to be baking the roughness, and then I'm also going to be baking the normal. And then because this material is made of metal, the metallic value is turned to 1. So I'm also going to be baking a metallic map. Now I want to be able to see the image texture once it's finished baking, so what I'm going to do is move my mouse right up here when the crosshair appears, and I can click and then drag down to split the window, and then I can click right here to change the editor type, and I'm going to change this to the image editor. And then if you click down here on the drop down, you can select the dented metal. So then when it finishes baking, we'll be able to see it updated here. So now let's go over the bake settings. So I want to bake the color map first. So right here on the bake type, I'm going to click on this, and I want to change it to diffuse. And diffuse is the same as albedo or color. So this will bake the color map. Now right here on the influence, we want to turn off the direct and indirect, because the direct and indirect is actually going to bake the lighting data. So it's actually going to bake the lights and reflections that the material has. But I don't want to bake the lighting data. I just want to bake the base color. So I'm going to turn off the direct and indirect, but leave the color on. Now something that's really important to remember when you're baking a material which is made out of metal is that before you bake the color map, you need to make sure the metallic value is turned to 0, because if the metallic value is turned up when you bake the image, any values which are metallic are going to look really black, and it's going to mess up the baked image texture. So if you have any value plugging into the metallic, you need to just unplug it from the metallic on the principled, and then you need to make sure that the metallic value is set to 0 before you bake the base color. Now we're baking the color map, and the color map is contributing to the base color of the material. So right here on the dented metal image, I want to make sure that this color space here is set to the sRGB. But when we're baking the other maps like the metallic and the roughness and the normal, those other maps aren't contributing to the base color of the material, so we want to change those to non-color. But for the color map, we want the color space set to sRGB. So then before we bake this, we need to make sure that the object is selected and make sure that the image is selected, and we have this set to diffuse, and so I can now click on the bake button. And there's a loading bar right down there, and it shouldn't take very long. And there it is, so it has already finished. So there is the color map, and so whatever data was going into the base color, that's what's going to bake. So now I can save this image, so I can click right up here on image, and then I can click on save as. So in my project files, I've just created a folder called texture maps, and I'm just going to save this as dented metal, but then I'm going to rename it to color. So I'm going to add the color there at the end of the name, and I will just save it as a PNG image, but you could also save it to JPEG if you want to. And then I will click on save as. So now that we've finished baking the color map, we can turn the metallic value back up. So I'm going to turn the metallic back up to 1, or if you have any data which was plugged into the metallic value like a texture, you can plug that back into the metallic value. So the next map that I want to bake is the metallic value. So if I click here on the bake type and I look down here at the drop down, you can see there isn't actually any metallic value. So to bake the metallic value, I'm going to use the emission instead. So just click on emission. And then before I go any further, I do need to enable the Node Wrangler add-on. So if you don't have the Node Wrangler enabled, you can click on edit and you can go to the preferences. And then over there in the add-ons tab, you can just search for Node Wrangler and just checkmark the Node Wrangler add-on. So the add-on is built into Blender and I'll show you how to use it in the video. So now that the Node Wrangler is enabled, you can hold down the Control and Shift key and then you can select different nodes. And that is going to plug it directly up to whatever node you clicked on. So if you have a node which is plugged up to the metallic value on the principled shader, then you just need to Control, Shift, and select that node. And because the bake type is set to emission, it's going to bake whatever we are previewing using the Node Wrangler. Now for this material, it is completely metallic, so I don't actually have any value which is going into the metallic. So instead, what I'm going to do is press Shift A and I'm going to go to the search and I'm just going to search for an RGB node. And then we can take the RGB color and we can put that into the metallic. So the RGB is just one single color value. So if I turn the RGB to fully white, it's going to be completely metallic. So because this material is completely metallic, I'm going to turn the RGB to completely white. And then I just want to Control, Shift, and select the RGB node to preview it. So this way it'll bake completely white, and then that way it'll be completely metallic. Now what's also really important here on the dented metal is that you take the color space and you change this to non-color when you're baking the metallic map, because the metallic map isn't directly contributing to the base color, it's going to be going into the metallic, and so we do want to change this to non-color. So that is very important for the other maps. So then just make sure that you have the image selected, make sure that you have the dented metal selected, we have the bake type set to emission, and then I can click on the bake button. And if your material doesn't have any metallic values, you can just skip this step, you don't have to bake the metallic map. So it has now finished. So I can now save this image. So I'll click right here on image and then click on save as. And then this one I'm going to save in the same folder, but I'm going to rename it to dented metal metallic. And then I'll just save it as a PNG image and click on Save As. So that is the metallic map. So now that we're finished baking the metallic map, I can click on the RGB and I can press X to delete it, and then I will Control Shift and select the principled shader. So I can now bake the roughness map. So right here on the bake type, I'm going to change this over to the roughness. And so if we change this to roughness, it's going to bake any data which is going into the roughness value. And then again, what's really important is to make sure that the color space is set to non-color for the roughness map. So then just make sure the object is selected and make sure that the image is selected. We have this set to roughness, so I can now click on baked again. And it has now finished. So here is the roughness map. So again, I'll click on image and then I can click on save as. And then this one, I'm going to rename to dented metal, but I will take away the metallic and I'm going to write roughness instead. So dented metal roughness as a PNG image, and I will click on save as. All right, so we just have one more to bake, and that is the normal map. So right here on the bake type, I can click on this and I'm going to change it to the normal. And so it's going to bake any data which is going into the normal of the principled shader. So then again, make sure that you have this object selected, and right here on the color space, we want this to be set to non-color for the normal map. And then make sure that this image is selected. And then you can click on the bake button. And why we're selecting the image is because that's telling Blender what image it's going to bake to. And it finished. So there is the normal map. So then to save this, you can click here on image and you can click on save as. And then this one, I'm going to rename this to dented metal normal. So I'll get rid of the roughness and I'll just rename this to normal. And I'll save this as a PNG image and I will click on save as. All right, so we baked all the maps. So I can now just delete this material and I'll create a new material and add in all the maps. So just in case I want to go back to this material, I'm going to click on the shield icon right here, and that is going to set a fake user. So even if we delete this material from any of the objects, it's going to keep this material data in the Blender file, just in case if I need to go back to it and rebake anything. So I can now click on the X button to get rid of this material, and then I can click on the new button to add a new material. Now I'm going to be using a feature of the Node Wrangler to automatically set up all the texture maps. So with the principled texture selected, I'm going to press Control Shift T. And Control-Shift-T will bring up Blender's file browser, and then I'm going to go into the folder with all of the texture maps that I baked. And then I'm just going to click and drag to select all the texture maps, and I can click on the Principled Texture Setup. And it's automatically going to set up all of the texture maps for us. Now, one problem here, for some reason it actually added in the normal map, and I don't know why it did this. I think this is just a bug using that feature of the Node Wrangler. So what I'm actually going to do is just click on the exit button here to get rid of this metallic image, and then I'm going to click on the open button to open up the correct image. And then here is the correct image, so it's the dented metal metallic. So I can just click on this and then click on open image. And then again, what's really important is that the color space here is set to non-color, and make sure that the color space is set to non-color on all of the image textures except the base color. The base color needs to be set to sRGB because it's contributing to the base color of the material, but all the other images should be set to non-color. So there's the material with the baked textures, and you can see it looks just like the procedural material that we started out with. Now that overall process was pretty complex because we had to remember to add the image texture, we had to remember to set the color space to non-color. We also had that little issue with the metallic value where when we're baking the color map, we have to turn off the metallic value so that it doesn't mess up the base color. And we also had to bake each image individually, and we also had to individually save each image after it was baking. So this entire process does take a lot of time, and it can be quite confusing. And so this is where the Quick Baker add-on comes in. So the Quick Baker add-on is a really great Blender add-on for speeding up your texture baking workflow, and it does pretty much everything for you. So it automatically sets the color space correctly, it automatically fixes that metallic issue when we're baking the color map, and it bakes all of the maps at once, and it also saves all of the images automatically to your computer. And I actually have a dedicated review video on how to use the Quick Baker add-on, so if you'd like to check out that review video, I'll have the link in the description. And also in the description I will have some affiliate links to where you can purchase the add-on on the Blender Market as well as Gumroad. And so if you purchase the add-on through my links, then I will earn a small commission, and that's a great way to help support me and this channel. So I brought back the procedural material on this object, and what I'm going to do is press the N key to open up the side panel, and once you've enabled the add-on, you're going to click right down here on the Q Baker. That is the Quick Baker add-on, so it's right here on the side panel after you enable the add-on. So I now need to add a bake group, so I'm going to click on the plus here to add a bake group, and then I'm not baking high poly to low poly, I'm just baking the image textures, so I can just uncheck the high to low. And then I need to add an object to bake, so I'm going to click on the plus here to add a new object, and then I can click on the eyedropper and I can just select the object that I want to bake. So we can now go right down here to the maps, and I can just add all the maps that I want to bake. So I can click here on add, and I can add the albedo, that's the same as color or diffuse. I can also click on add and add the metallic, and I can click on add and add the roughness, and then the last one that I want to add is the normal. Now right here you can choose where you want the add-on to save the image textures. So I'm just going to click on this file icon right here, and then I'm going to create a new folder, and I'll go into this folder and then click on accept. So when the images bake, the add-on is automatically going to save the image textures. And then right here you can also choose some of the settings. So I'm going to change this to 4096 because I want to bake to 4K, and also right here on the format I also want to set this to PNG. And there are a few other settings that you can change. And then before you hit the bake button, you do also need to make sure that the object is UV unwrapped. So if you haven't already UV unwrapped the object, you can go over to the UV editing and you can UV unwrap the object, and I did already cover UV unwrapping earlier in this video. So I can just go back here to the shading tab, and then it's as simple as just hitting the bake button. And so it's going to go through and bake all 4 image textures, and it will save all the image textures to your computer. And the baking has finished. So I'm now just going to delete this material, and then I will add a new material and add in all the maps. So I'll press the N key to close the side panel, and then right over here, if I go to the materials, I can click on the X button to delete this material, and I can click on the new button to add a new material. So then just like I did before, I'm going to use the feature the Node Wrangler to automatically set up all the texture maps. So I will select the principled shader, and then I can press Control-Shift-T, and then I can just locate to the folder where the add-on has saved all the image textures, and I can just click and drag to select all the images, and then I can click on Principled Texture Setup. And you can see it's going to set up all the texture maps for us. So we have the base color, the metallic, and the roughness, and the normal. And so as you can see, this add-on saves so much time because you don't have to fiddle around with all the different settings, and it also bakes all the images at once and saves them all to your computer. So if you'd like to purchase the add-on, then I will have affiliate links in the description to where you can purchase the add-on on the Blender market as well as Gumroad. And those are affiliate links, so if you purchase the add-on through my links, then I will earn a small commission, and that's a great way to help support this channel. So that is how you texture bake procedural materials in Blender. So I hope you found this helpful, and thank you for watching.